Friday, December 2nd, rounding out. Well, I don't know if this is the first week of December or not, but we're talking about the FTC won't let Ford be, Tesla's adjustment in price, and kids don't want cash anymore.
Everywhere I go, the people really don't know who I is and
I like it. I can't wait till we talk about that.
Yo, today is all things used cars, talking about aged inventory. So if you're watching the live stream right now, or you're listening and have the Clubhouse app and didn't get to listen to it, I would pay attention, because everyone that I know that's a car dealer that has used car inventory is going, oh boy, we got age inventory. So I think it's going to be a riveting discussion. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, it kind of pivots off the discussion we had a couple weeks ago when Dale Pollock was on talking about market pricing. So if you don't know how to get to Clubhouse, you can download it on the App Store, Google Play. It's called the Clubhouse app, or just Clubhouse. It'll be the first one. And then just search all things used cars. It'll pop up, tap on the button, come into the room, and it's going to be a lively discussion. That's coming up in 9 a.m. Eastern time today, Friday, December 2nd. Or if you're listening to this later on, you can listen to the replay by doing kind of the same exact thing. So you're not out if you can't be there live. It'll be archived and ready for you to listen to. We'll try to maybe grab a couple clips, maybe even launch a special Saturday episode of the podcast again with a couple of those nuggets. Couple things. You're in extravaganzas coming in hot. We're starting to get the guest confirmations and the tech confirmations, and the sucker's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah. It's going to be a 2-hour live stream on December 20th, Tuesday. So even if you can't be there in our, yes, I'm going to say it, live studio audience, which we will have, and you maybe can be in the live studio audience, you got to go to the site, go to asoda.com, scroll down, follow the event on LinkedIn, and just hit us up. We'll see what happens. But 2-hour live stream on LinkedIn, December 20th, Tuesday. We're going to do a year in review, looking ahead, have a lot of fun, live band. Michael Cirillo will be on the mic
on
too.
The street. Yeah, little mic man.
We're going to do some live appraisals in Nashville. It's going to be pretty dope.
It'll be fun. Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to make it fun, because why shouldn't it be? Because it's the car business, and the car business should be fun. Speaking of not having fun.
Segue.
It's an opposite segue. Opposite segue. I'm not even going to finish playing it. U.S. Senator from Connecticut, Richard Blumenthal, shared his plan to petition the FTC to launch an investigation into Ford's new EV certification program under suspicion that it is violating U.S. franchise laws.
You mean a senator feels like that? Let's go.
We've moved up. We've moved up past the state legislators. They were there too. But we're talking to U.S. Senator now. In a press conference, he and other Connecticut legislators, along with the Connecticut Automotive Retailers Association, can you hit a record scratch for me there? Hit a record scratch, because we need it. I said the Connecticut Automotive Retailers Association. They're talking about car dealers. They've rebranded. When did this happen?
That's amazing.
When did that happen? I know. I saw that. I was like, oh, good on you, Connecticut.
They listened to Tom Dahl.
They did. They asked for Ford to once again delay their December 2nd deadline, which happens to be today, for opting out of the program. The Retailing Association co-chair Jeff Iosa told Automotive News, dealers look at their sales and service agreements with the manufacturer as a partnership to represent all the brand's products as long as they're in good standing, and to unilaterally change that agreement for a program is patently unfair. The Senator Blumenthal called it egregious treatment, and it said it's an issue of profound public interest, and he's convinced there's a case that needs to be investigated. Ford did respond and said there'd be no extension. They gave him one extension already. There's that's it. We're done. We'll see what happens today, I guess. And they said the voluntary program empowers our dealers on when and how to enroll. And we understand that some dealers operating in markets with low EV penetration may choose not to enroll, but they'll have another chance in 2025. So it's really heating up. Today's the deadline, and let the games begin.
I don't have much commentary on this, except for the fact that I still don't think this is completely unprecedented. We've seen this with particular models. Now, this is going to be a little bit more widespread, more models coming in the EV landscape in the next 2 years. But hey, look,
So you've seen it with models before. Give some examples. Obviously, we've seen it sub brands like Scion, right? Toyota launched Scion. If you want to sell Scion, you have to have a piece of your showroom dedicated, some training, some equipment.
Exactly.
What else comes to mind?
Like the Nissan GTR. The Subaru WRX, I believe, was at one point one of those. I could stand to be corrected on that one. But yeah, so especially in the performance model. And so if you think of like an early adopter type thing, I mean, even even just in like early availability of models was based on a dealer's ability
investment to deliver on it, right? I
I
know
think
it'll be interesting. I mean, this is obviously a powertrain and a platform, and not
it's
a
a whole
model.
platform. It's a lot more models, most likely, even in the next 2 years for Ford. And it's a large investment. Now, I honestly, and maybe I just only know, urban dealers or suburban dealers. Pretty much everybody that I've talked to is like, yeah, we're in
We're
for
gonna
this.
try
I
it.
mean, it's
Give it a
really
shot.
like in the grand scheme of things, when you look at the overall capacity for growth with the EV landscape, it's what, $900,000, which
This
I know.
day and age, after coming out of a record profit season, right? We
Right.
know the cash is there. I don't think it's a cash issue. I mean, everyone's saying, well, that's really expensive. And
principle
like,
thing.
I think
It's a
your
principle
point
thing.
is right. It's not that much cash for cash rich dealers in this day and age, but going into uncertainty, and it is, no one wants to say yes on a principle that, once you crack that door open, right, the water starts coming over.
The problem
right?
is I think the bigger problem is what's on the other side, right? I think that's the question. Is this is a little bit too broad, a little bit too wide of a door crack? What's on the other side is the question. And so I appreciate that there's some pushback here.
Definitely some pushback here. I really want to segue to go into this, but we don't have one, so I'm just going to go stop. We're just going to hit stop. All right, let's talk about semantics for a second.
Nah, like semantics. Words are important. We'll call
it a discount. Air quotes. Don't call it an air quotes credit either. Don't call it a discount, but Tesla is giving a rare $3,750 credit, but they're calling it's just a price adjustment. It's just an adjustment to U.S. consumers who will take delivery this month. So of a Model 3 or a Model Y before the year ends, Tesla saying we will make a $3,750 price adjustment. It appears to be really in response. It appears that number's half of the upcoming $7,500 EV credit that will come into play next year. And basically, people are delaying delivery of their vehicles because this credit is coming next year, which makes all the sense in the world. And Tesla's saying, like, no, you have to take delivery. We've had this inventory. You've known it's coming. You have to take delivery. And they're saying, fine, then we will cancel the order. So Tesla's just obviously trying to move and adjust and say, okay, how about if we adjust the price to half of this so you can take delivery now? I mean, the worst thing right now when there's a stack of people that want to buy is having inventory sit at the end of Q4.
So you're telling me
I still want to get you that shirt.
Inventory, sales goals, and rebates?
It's a price. It's just a price adjustment.
It's just a price adjustment.
It's just a price adjustment. Let's not go there. It's just
let's not call it a rebate.
It's so harsh when you say it that way. It's so harsh that way. But
intensely auto when you call it a rebate, right?
It really is. And before you know it, they're going to have service centers.
Oh my goodness. Oh my. The gall. You mean they might have parts delivery people?
Physical locations where you can walk in and drop your car off and have it serviced. You know what'll be cool? I didn't think about this. They need like the deploy button. Once the autopilot gets in, be like, oh, just like hit the little button and you pre-schedule your car to just leave your house and go to the Tesla place for service.
That would be nuts.
It shows up. That's going to happen. Why wouldn't that happen?
Without a doubt. Yeah.
Why wouldn't that? That would be awesome. Just random cars just showing up at the store and like knowing where to file in line, knowing which bay to drive into. That's future world right there.
That is
but as we talked about like 2 or 3 days ago this week, Tesla's per vehicle profit is $9,500. Their next closest EV competitor is Toyota at $1,300. So Tesla has a little bit of room to make a price adjustment just to get through the next, next 29 days. I feel like Dr. Evil.
I feel like this whole section, we should just call this the air quotes section.
Yeah. Yeah. And next segment is air quotes. We should have a segment called air quotes. We should. I mean, kids do it. Why can't we do it? Speaking of the kids. Stop.
Segue.
Time.
This one's fun. This one's kind of silly.
Yeah, it is. It is.
At least in my world.
Plus, it's real. I'll tell you what, in my world, I live this story. Right. Because in the story, they talk about a 12-year-old and a 10-year-old sister. I have a 13-year-old and 11-year-old. So it just went through this. So while adults, including Brian Kramer, struggle to find good use for the metaverse these days, kids are socializing and spending money there. And they happen to be now turning their nose up at cash. Remember when you were like, hey, you do some chores and here's a crisp new $5 bill. My
Yep.
day was like a $1 bill, like when I was a kid. Right?
Me too.
They don't want the cash anymore. You know what they want?
No.
They want virtual currency so they can spend in metaverse-like games like Roblox. So this is a great Wall Street Journal article, and this parent, Mr. Robledo, 46 years old, I'm 43, I can relate. He says they were handing it right back to me, the cash, saying, "Can you convert this to Robux?" Right? The way this works in my house is my Elise. She's my 10-year-old, or she 11.
Oh boy.
She's 11. Yeah, she's 10. She's 11. Yeah. She walks up to me. I'm like sitting watching TV or talking to my wife, and she just walks up holding her phone, and she'll just hold it up to me, and it needs me to confirm, right? Like put in a little passcode to confirm like the $5 or whatever. So so here's the deal. Like this story talks about 12-year-old daughter Kaylee and her 10-year-old sister. They bought get this, a Gucci bag, a Louis Vuitton bag, and a Gucci jacket. I was wondering how my kids knew about Gucci from. I'm like, why do my kids they see Gucci like at a store? It's like, oh, someone's got a Gucci bag or a Louis Vuitton. I'm like, how do you know this?
Because they know. It's because
because of Roblox, dude. Because of Roblox.
Unbelievable. It's wild. But like you think about that from a brand play, right?
Oh, well,
what are they doing when they're 18, 20, 22? They've got their first job. What are they saving up for?
IRL in
Done.
real life.
In real life.
No,
Just
it's
like
true.
that.
If I got one of my kids something that said Gucci on it or Louis Vuitton, they would be excited, and it would make me feel like really disgusting and weird. Right? Like, why do my kids know what a Louis Vuitton bag is? How does this even happen? I've done a lot. So developers quickly realized that if they were going to monetize a young audience, which is always questionable, right? If you're going to monetize a young audience, right? It's different than you're
really just monetizing their parents,
putting ads up for like super sugary cereal and be like, it's health food, right? But yeah, so how are you going to do this? They realized, like you said, they have to monetize for the parents. So what can we do to solve some parental needs? They should build in an allowance function, like $5 a week goes into this. Like that's what they should do. But a lot of brands, like you said, are jumping onto the bandwagon. So usually when a brand would want to just get an advertising in front of a kid somehow, YouTube pre-roll or just on a good old fashioned commercial or movie pre-roll, brands are jumping in and actually developing games for Roblox. So Chipotle jumped in and they built a game where kids can build burritos, and they love doing this stuff. I watch my kids do it with all kinds of stuff.
Where should we go to lunch, kids? Chipotle.
No doubt. And you watch the people build the burrito and you're like, oh, I know how to do that. It's actually workforce training, maybe. There's
what
also
kind of
Walmart.
car should we get? A Hummer.
That's what I'm talking about. Kyle, you just got right to the punchline. I don't know why we don't see any automakers in the space right now, or even look, some of the larger local dealerships, you have the resources to develop a game that can be in Roblox and can be targeted. It's really, really pretty insane, actually, the fact that you can do it. I think Nathaniel Greklick needs to be a character in Roblox, by the way. Also, we talked about Walmart Land a few weeks ago, right? And Walmart Land is this big kind of fantasy world where a blimp flies around and it drops free stuff. And kids can collect and earn stuff. There's Nike Land where you can like play games like basketball and shoot hoops, and you earn the ability to buy swag. So, last little point from this article is like
land, quick lane land.
That's,
just calling it like I see it, Paul.
Yeah. There's no way driveway should not be in this fight right now. It should be all up in there. All up in there. Mike Kavanaugh, if you're listening right now, get the developers together.
Get them together, scrounge together a game and drop.
We're counting on you.
God,
we're counting a little more than scrounge it. Just scrounge it together. Get scrounge a game together.
Cars dropping out of the sky with lifted Jeeps.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
How fun
amazing.
Would that be?
Well, you're coming soon in 2023. Brands are going to be able to buy billboards in game. So in-game billboards. Also, this is cool. You can buy a portal from other games into your world. So all of a sudden, I'm playing this little whatever game I want to play, and then all of a sudden, there's a portal and it looks really cool, and you're like, come to Nike Land and do this little bonus thing. And you can go on the portal and it just transports you right into the game. So the beauty of the metaverse.
Paul, is it going to sell me cars in December?
In one day, it will say the ROI.
One December, it will sell you cars. Come on.
Well, sell me 1 December. Maybe not this 1st December. That's hilarious, dude. That's hilarious. But I mean, I think it's indicative, man. Times are changing. Look at just what we talk about today. right? We're talking about franchise laws. We're talking about EVs, talking about Tesla, talking about Roblox. Keep your head up. Keep your head up,
Imagine that
people.
in 2019. But hey, look, I think car dealers are savvy enough to handle it and
All
jump
day.
in where
day.
it makes sense, control and work on the basics and dial it in. So
yeah. So there you go. That's not reason to be excited to head into a Friday. The fortunate thing is that we all live in the real world every day, day in, day out. We get to interact with people. So go interact with some people, and nothing feels better than a thank you. Leave the right.